All right, so where we last left off, I was more or less feature complete. And oh wow, look at that memory usage, Jesus. I probably should have put more than 2 gigs on this one. Put 4 gigs on the main one, and wow, it eats up that. I should probably up upgrade the RAM on these. But anyway, where we last left off, I had gotten Warehome feature complete, and I have actually deployed to my hypervisor a VM that now runs it in production in my local network so that I have access from anywhere on my network. Right? Like so. I've only just started putting things in, a couple decorations. Right. I've also implemented one last feature that didn't get done on the streams, and that was if you go to one of the containers, all right, let's go here. Let's go to this one specifically. You can download a QR code that will take you to this container link. It's actually a little component I wrote that wherever you embed it, it just gives you the current location in a QR code. So, incidentally, I forgot to hide it in the new container page, so I will have to fix that because that'll give you a QR code for 10.7.646/container/new, which is okay, not particularly useful for a QR code. Where are you going to put that, and what will be the point of that? So I do have to hide that button there, but you have that, right? So if you have that link, and I also made it so that if you try to access a particular page without being logged in, without having a valid login token or what have you, so let's log out, right? And attempt to visit that, we follow the QR code. Now instead of going to dashboard when you sign in, it has it saved as in local storage what link you attempted to visit last, and will redirect right to that when you log in. So now, if you scan a QR code that you printed out and put on a container, log in, you go right to that page, not to the dashboard, which is appropriate. So, as for how I deployed this, that's what we'll be covering today. I worked out on my own over the course of a couple of days. Uh, I had an old server that I thought had ESX on it in the garage, but that was apparently another server that broke down and was replaced by an Active Directory server years ago that just had Windows installed directly on it, but then the power strip died a few years ago on that server, so that's been just sitting there dormant. So got a new power strip, plugged it in, and went to install ESXi, and of course, last year Broadcom bought VMware, so no more ESXi. They want their money. So I went ahead and installed Proxmox and spun up 2 Debian VMs. One that I put my production Warehome server on, and one that I put a demo server on for today that just has a small disk just for installing the just for installing Warehome. It's not going to have to hold as many images because I'm going to destroy this VM as soon as I'm done with this demo video. So I actually wrote down all the steps that I went through as I was working it out. As I was figuring out the next thing I had to do, I was just taking notes so that there would be a, and of course this is committed to the repo, the deployment steps.txt. So you'll be able to find it there to follow yourself if you need to, or you can follow this video. Now there's a few things I did. Uh, for example, On the server, I actually installed and ran everything from root instead of the user because I really didn't care. It's an internal service. It's not exposed to the internet. Uh, I didn't even install in, or I didn't even enable any kind of SSH into this machine. It's all done through uh, QEMU, however you pronounce that. And I just have Warehome running here. And of course, I have Nginx running the front end, but I have backend just running as a regular Rails process. I did start to go through the steps to implement Passenger and Capistrano, but it turns out Capistrano requires SSH, and I didn't feel like enabling that for something like this. It's a small, will be infrequently updated hobbyist home thing. It doesn't really need uh, it, it doesn't really need rapid deployment, right? I can just make a build from time to time and stop the services and update the server myself. So it really wasn't worth the trouble to me, just because of the nature of what it is. It's going to have no more than, two or three concurrent users at any given time. So, you know, it's an engineering problem. You build for what you need. You don't make like you're building something that's going to have a million users when you know you're going to have three. So, you know, uh, so what we're going to do is follow that process, but a little more correctly this time. I added myself to the sudoers file on this machine, so we'll just go in here, and I've already gone through the first step of installing Git just to check that adding myself to the sudoers file works, but just go over. You want to install Debian system. One thing, if you're installing Debian 12 on Proxmox, when it tries to automatically create your network settings, it's going to have issues and it's not going to be able to reach the internet, and you're going to get a very vague and ambiguous message that makes it seem like you'd be quitting setup altogether if you say no. Yes, if you want to continue anyway. I forget the exact wording, but if you say yes, then it'll fail to download any packages at some point and just be stuck, and then you'll have to go back to that step. And if you say no, then it brings you to another menu to manually set the IP address, but it doesn't tell you that up front. So it seems more like you're quitting setup altogether. So you just say no when it tells you it can't reach the internet, and then you can put in your IP address and go from there. That was a little pain point of just setting up the VM itself. But yeah, I'm in the sudoers file. I've already installed Git. So I'm just going to follow along. I'm not going to keep this visible. I'm going to put this on my other screen, but this deployment steps.txt is available right here. So if you want to bring that up yourself, follow along, whatever. Okay, we're going to close that for now. So, next step. Now, I don't use Postgre. I actually use MariaDB because I was using MySQL in the other one. Uh, but I'm installing Postgre and SQLite anyway because you might use one or the other of those instead. So I'm just going to install everything as part of the demo, and you either omit or just don't use whatever does or doesn't appeal to you. So for demonstration purposes, I am installing all three databases and then using one. Make of that what you will. Okay, so apt install, and another annoying thing is I can't paste into this window. So, yeah. One thing I miss about vSphere, but it's been a long time since I've had to use it. Just don't really do anything that requires virtualization lately. Well, until this. I don't know. Sometimes you just find yourself in different phases of life. Anyway. Okay, so apt install PostgreSQL, libpqdev, Node.js, of course. Another thing I found was that npm wasn't installed with Node.js, which on Windows, when you install Node.js, you also get npm right away. So that's interesting on Linux. Uh, don't do a lot of Linux stuff as it is, generally. Yarn peek, yarn package. We need zlib 1g dev. Build essential. Libssl dev. Libreadline dev. And these are all just these are all dependencies for what we're going to be using for managing our Ruby version, which is something called RBMV. So, libreadline dev. Hold on. It scrolled on me because I have two different monitors, two different aspect ratios because I got a drawing tablet as my second monitor, and it scrolled my window on me. Okay, so libreadline dev, libyaml dev, libsqlite. Oh, hold on. I better sudo that. That's right. I'm not in su. When I was in root, I didn't have to sudo anything because I was already a super user. I have to remember to sudo libyaml dev, libsqlite 3. That's 1L. 3 then a dash dev. Okay, SQLite 3. Lib xml2 dash dev. Lib xslt1 dash dev. libcurl4 dash openssl dash dev. Jesus. libcurl4.openssl dash dev. Yes. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be in a situation where you can just paste these things because this is tedious. Software properties common. FFI-dev. I'm a silly person. I am silly. I am a fool. I'm going to, after this one, open up Firefox on the VM and navigate to this repo, open this file inside the VM, and then I can copy and paste to my heart's content. How about that? Okay, let's speed this up then. All right, so lib Mariah db-dev. Okay. Okay. That should be everything we need. Okay. And while that goes, um, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the old. Okay. Okay. GitHub. See if I can just find it by searching. Uh, oh. I guess I'm not the only one who thought to name it that, huh? Wow. Huh. No, don't. Let's look at this. Huh. No way, dude. But in Python. Yo. Yo, buddy. Did we just become best friends? What is this? Oh, man. Well, anyway. Let's just put in my username. Yo, I gotta check that out later. I'm going to add a proper README once this stream is done because this stream is going to be part of the README, the link to it. Uh, I guess the one watching is me. Yo, I gotta check that out. Okay, now please let me like shrink this window or something. Thank you. Goodness. Okay. Oh, it's still going anyway. Okay, so now we can do a little copy pasta. Nice, but we're still going at 40%. So there's another thing you can do while these things go, and that's do we want to do Sudoku? Do we want to do Minesweeper? Let's do a little Minesweeper. We can watch that in the corner. I might want to lower the difficulty just so that I can keep the window small. We gotta do something to kill the time, right? And we'll revisit this as needed. One, oh, done. Okay, pause. Okay, so next step. Uh, sudo apt install rbenv. That should be quick. Ish. Okay, so we've got Ruby. Now we want to git clone to that. Okay, copy. Yeah. So this is in order to get 3.2.2, which is what our gem file for this particular project is for. Uh, Later down the road, you might not have to do this step. You might just get 3.2.2. In fact, before well, just git cloning shouldn't do anything, but let's see. We should be able to see, yeah, see, 3.1. Now, there's also an issue I found. Uh, Ruby has to be put in the environment properly. RBM doesn't always properly set environment variables, and then you gotta go in and mess with your bash RC file to fix that. But so RBM install v 3.2.2. Okay, sudo. Huh. Well, it worked last night. Hmm. Oh, just on sudo. Okay, that was weird. Uh, that's another thing. I just went into, I just ran everything as su. I just switched to root. Did this su command to switch to superuser for everything, and just did everything as superuser on my main machine. Which again, not best practices. Don't do that. It's just what I happen to do because I was feeling lazy and I just wanted to get everything working. And I probably should have done that on this machine and then ran this stream on the main machine with the more RAM and more disk space, so that I could do my practice and with figuring out how to do it on the machine I'm going to discard, and do the second one where I already know what I'm doing on the machine I want to keep. I did that kind of backwards, so now my good machine is done kind of improperly, and my machine I'm about to discard is going to be done more properly. That's not great, not ideal. It is what it is. Uh, so let's see. Yeah, compiling Ruby takes a bit, so this could take a full 2 hours when it's just running these commands. So do a little more Minesweeper, I guess. Get a little more Minesweeper action. Uh, yeah, as I was saying, I just did everything as super user, and there is, for example, when you run bundle after you download your backend and you run bundle from the server directory, you actually get a warning saying that running bundle within Rails application from root is going to break it for all of the users, which in my case, I don't intend to run it on more than one user anyway. Whether it's root or David is a matter of indifference to me, honestly, because again, it's an internal thing with a very tiny user base by design. So, not the end of the world, but as far as adhering to best practices and making sure, just as a matter of course, you do things the way you should do them, just to just to build good habits. The way I did the other server is not really how you want to do it. If you go to sudo something and it tells you you're not in the sudoers file, then just add yourself to the sudoers file, and that's that. Instead of being lazy, and it was like one step I skipped. This. I don't want to alter that file, so instead I'm just gonna log in as root and just do everything as root, which, yeah, in hindsight, it was kind of a jerk move to do it that way. I cut one whole corner for no good reason at all. And again, it's no real impact, but you can see it weighs on me a little bit, right? No one will ever know. No one who uses it will ever know. It'll always just work. There'll never be issues from it, but I'll always know deep down, you know? That sort of thing weighs on your conscience. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Well, that sucks. Kind of had to guess it was hit a pocket of ambiguity, although if I clicked here, that would have been cool. Oh well. I haven't hit any super ambiguous, just semi-ambiguous things. There are a few arrangements where you hit super ambiguity, where like if you have a square with I think one's in the corners and two's on the sides, where there's known mines in the corners or something. I don't remember exactly. Although I have that screenshot as my a screenshot of one of those super ambiguous arrangements as my icon for my Gmail. So just take a peek at that. Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, this is what we do when we are compiling. Just like that XKCD comic, when you accept in that you have cardboard sword fights, but I don't have any cardboard tubes and no one around at the moment to sword fight with. While standing on desk chairs. Hey. Okay, so one of these is a mine. One of these is a mine. So that's a mine. Uh, maybe both of those and that, or maybe that, and one of these, and one of these. Who knows? Find out eventually, one way or another. Hopefully not the hard way. One of these two is a mine. Oh, definitely that one. One of these two is a mine. One of these two is a mine. None of these are. One of these three is a mine. This one doesn't have question marks. One of these two is a mine. Neither of these are. Yeah. One little shortcut is to just double click a number before counting the marked mines around it. Be like, it's a quick time saving trick rather than actually counting. You're like, does this have all of them yet or no? Okay, no, not yet. And then you just move on. So you see me double clicking like a 3, for example, that only has 2 flags around it, because I'm just, I didn't even look at it yet, really. Okay, so that's a mine, and that's not. None of these are. Okay, if one of these is a mine, then none of these are. That's a mine. Okay. I was hoping that would be a 1. Wow. Yeah, there's some ambiguity here. Goodness. Just YOLO it. Nice. Okay, that's going to give me a lot of mileage. Okay. Ba-ba. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. Oh, we do have question marks. No. So one of these is a mine, one of these is a mine. That's going to be tricky. One of these two is a mine, one of these two is a mine. But both of these two are mines because, yeah. So one of these two, so not that one. Oh, lovely. So there's two in there. There's one in here. Oh, boy. Gotta start guessing. Jeez. Well, we'll revisit this. Okay, so we got Ruby installed. Okay. And yeah, now you'll notice that what was supposed to happen is that Ruby now says 3.2.2, but we have 3.1.2. And that's because our RBM installs a main version of a base version of Ruby, and then it installs local versions of Ruby within it, versions of Ruby within itself, and then it's supposed to, based on the context, switch between versions in shim, and I believe I haven't tested this, but from what I could tell, it's supposed to allow you to go into a particular directory and set, for example, RBM local to a version, and then while you're in that directory, Ruby-V should give you the version you set for that directory. And if that's not set, then it falls back on global. And if global's not set, then it falls back on that. Now, the issue is it's not properly configured to do that just yet. And that was a huge headache when I was trying to figure out what was going on, why I'm installing 3.2, but it's still on 3.1. That was, yeah, so I went through that so you don't have to. So, what we're going to do is, and this might not be an issue down the road if they ever fix that, but for now, if you're running into this issue, uh, here's where you could come to fix it. Uh, so, here's step 7A. Uh, and that, and that, and yeah. Um, Another thing. Hold on. I want to look into Bash RC here just to make sure I don't miss anything down the road. So we're just going to do that. Right. Uh, uh, okay. So, yeah. Nano. Uh, yeah, so we want to set these things. You want to set your database password and, of course, your Rails environment to production. Also, I found that uh, hash marks were no good, and also I had to escape the $sign. And who cares if you see my password for a database? That's That's running on an internal system. No one's gonna ever get into that. Who cares? It's bad OPSEC, but yeah, whatever. Who cares? Okay. I might have to sudo this, but yeah. Uh, oh no, don't have to sudo it. Okay. There's a lot more going on in this bash RC. Goodness. Okay. The user's bash RC. So we're just gonna copy that. Okay. Copy. Actually, hold on. No, yeah, just eval in it. Yeah, so we're gonna go here and just add it to the bottom. And of course, we're gonna have to restart bash. Well, anyway, yeah. Save, exit. What was that? Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, that's another thing. Su, nano, etc. sudoers, and add yourself if you have that issue. So there you go. Close terminal. Close terminal. Activities. Terminal. Okay. Now, 3.2.2. Just like that. You do not want to know what else I tried to get to that point. It's very easy once you actually know how to fix it. So, now we need Ruby Dev. RBMV. If necessary, apt install Ruby Dev. Sudo. Yeah, that's a quick one. Okay. And then gem install bundler rehash. You probably don't have to rehash after every gem you install, but probably just install all your gems and then rehash. But just as a matter of course, uh, I follow the process of install gem and rehash at once so that you never forget to rehash. Uh, else and now this one could take a minute. Rails is kind of a big one, so getting there. Now, even knowing the steps, it's a very long process. I'm sure you can imagine what it was like first working out the process. Goodness. I'm just gonna take wild guesses here. Heh. Okay, so these. Okay. Oh wait, there we go. One hand washes the other. Okay. Oof. Well, there's only three. Yeah. Oh, wait. Nice. It's not a great time, but whatever. Okay, so, and just in time for Rails to be done. Okay, and then of course, because I'm using MySQL 2, if you're using Postgre, if you're using SQLite, then this step will be different. But I'm using the MySQL 2 gem with MariaDB on Linux. So that's going to be gem install 2 and RBNV rehash. And yeah, this. Oh no, that was quick. This could take a while. No, not really. Wasn't bad at all. Okay, and then apt install MariaDB server. Up. Sudo. Always try to do it without sudo first. And then rely on sudo when needed. Okay. Okay. Oh, why don't I just copy this? Well, it's not that long. I'll just type it. None. Oh. Oh, that's if I'm already en route. Don't have to do that. Okay, so it's through password yet. You should just press enter here. For the reuser. Oh, okay. I didn't have to type it last time because I was en route already. No, that was. I'm I'm seriously. Okay, fine. Screw you. Yeah, got around that, and it's a different password, but it's for some reason using my David password in sudo. You already have your root account protected, so you can safely answer no. You can safely answer no. By default, installation as an anonymous user. Yes. Disallow login remotely. Yes. Remove test database. Yes. This is a production environment. Reload privilege tables now. Sure, why not? Okay. Okay, now. Okay. And then we want to generate a user with access to everything. Now, later, what you can do is then change this. But first, because the database doesn't exist yet, you can't grant the permissions on just a database that doesn't exist yet, I don't think. I haven't tried it. I don't want to waste the time seeing if that's even a thing because it sounds like it probably isn't. But you do that, and then of course you want to make sure your password is not password. Uh, for this purposes, we'll go It doesn't have to be a very good password here because it's just a demo, but you should definitely pick a better password than this, as a matter of course, just as even if this is some just little internal thing that's not going to be exposed to the internet anyway. But for now, demo is the password. Horrible password. Don't use this password for things, please. But for this, demo is the password. And this grants permission to everything on everything to a user Warehome. You need a user Warehome unless you want to change the database.yaml, which maybe I should. See, one thing I'm going to have to do with some of the Capistrano files, and we'll get into that later, is they're currently in the repo when they really shouldn't be. I should change them to .example, and you should make your own that would then be in the .getignore so that you'd be able to pull without having issues if there's ever any updates. So I'll fix that. Oh, did I not have a it's oh shit, that was oops. Yeah, so that's the command here to here, and that is my comment. Don't put that in the console. So that ran successfully, and then this was just bad syntax. So yeah, let's uh, so now we have our password as demo. So we want to go back into bash rc and uh, server database password export server database password equals demo. So we're gonna do that. Export copy. Okay. We'll probably want to restart bash at some point, and we might as well do export rails env equals production now and get it over with. Okay. Export rails env equals production. Let me just double check that real quick. Type that right? I think I typed that right. Yep. Got a little. It's been raining. Whenever it rains, I get like that. You know how it is. Or maybe you don't. Well, good for you if you don't, but. Oh, I forgot to flush privileges. Okay, you go away for now. You're in the way. So let's go back into sudo MariaDB. That's 2 words, yeah. I don't know why clicking in the middle of the window doesn't count. Hey, come on. Wait. Ugh. Is it just like lagged? What's the deal? What's your problem, dude? I want to switch to the other window. Gotta spell that correctly. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. Um, just want to double check. Hmm? Come on. Ah. Oh, did I type users plural? Is that what I did? Ah, you bastard. Okay, that's what happened. There we go. Okay. Okay, but we're missing the password. Oh no, wait, we're not. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to double check that. Okay. Now another thing is this Debian came with Apache already installed, but I want to use Nginx. So you'll notice we haven't installed. No, we haven't. Have we installed Nginx yet? Is Nginx in there? I don't know. Oh no, Nginx gets installed later. But currently have an index.html in would it be var? Yeah. So there's that. So we currently have Apache running. So if you go here, and this one happens to be 47. So we have Apache running, but we're using Nginx for this. So I think that might have been because I checked install server when I was installing Debian. That might just be for Apache. Again, a lot of the things in the Debian installer are very ambiguous. So it just said server, and there was no place to see details what kind of server. Just install server or don't. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be using a server. I guess I'll install a server. And I suppose that might have been when it installed Apache, or that means something else entirely. Or it means it installed a bunch of other things I need and am using and don't even have to think about because I didn't have to first install them, as well as Apache. And it's either all or nothing. So I did what I did, and I'll have to uninstall Apache later on. But right now, I guess we don't really need to run status on MariahDB because it is clearly running. But yeah, it is indeed running. Like, okay, congratulations. Now, apt remove Apache 2. Okay. Uh, yep. Okay. Now, apt install Nginx, if you'll let me. You know, you get pretty mouthy. Okay. Uh, okay. And now, when we go to our IP address, Welcome to Nginx. Boom. Lovely. So, we got Ruby installed, we got Nginx installed. Not quite configured. Okay, now we want to go to our root directory. Now we want to source. And now we want to clone the Git repo. Now things are getting interesting. Now we're getting to the point where we're going to start to see things happen. We got all the groundwork laid. Okay. Cannot create work tree Warehome permission. For Christ's sake. Mouthing off at me again. Okay. rm credentials.yaml.enc cd server cd config. Okay, and we shouldn't see. Yeah, now what I properly did was I removed that from. I added that to git ignore because you should be making your own. And this is all the stuff to install Passenger, which I ended up not using. But these are the steps to install Passenger, but since I'm not really using Passenger, I'm not going to go through it on this machine, actually. But you would, at some point, install your Capistrano gem, and then you'd configure it as per one of the guides I have linked below in the description, actually. Specifically, this one goes into it a little bit, doesn't touch on Capistrano, but does show some passenger configuration, and this one does go into configuring Capistrano, and you would run, when you install the cap gem, of course, you wouldn't be running it from your production server. You actually don't even have to pull the Git repo onto the production server if you're using Capistrano properly. You would just install all the other things you need. Don't pull the Git repo. You would configure your IP address in the Capistrano files, and then where is it? Cap production deploy, and that'll over SSH connect to the machine, pull to the specified directory, and just run your server for you, run your API backend for you. I'm going to skip the steps I didn't do in the end to make this other server work, because I was just following along instructions at the time and then realized, oh, this is really if you want to do this or that. I don't, so I ended up not going all the way through with it. So I'm actually not going to demonstrate. I was kind of on the fence. I was thinking, should I, since I'm blowing away this VM anyway, should I install these things? But yeah, you gotta get this other library, and then you can install Fusion, Passenger, and then you would install the passenger add-on for Nginx, etc. All right, but we're skipping steps 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, as well as step 36 here. Don't really need that. Okay. So, what we are going to do, though, if it'll let me. Okay, I need to bundle exec Rails secret. We need a Rails secret. So cd. Nope. Oh, oops. Have to run bundle first. Did I leave that step out? Huh. Yeah, there should be a step in here after you do this to run bundle. That step's missing. But anyone following these instructions will get that message and go, oh, I have to run bundle install. And it's like running npmi, which is mentioned down here. Yeah, setting up the backend has a lot more steps than setting up the front end. Like the base setup goes to about here, and then this is all backend setup, and here. Like that's all backend setup, and then that's all front end setup. Night and day, how much of a difference between them in size is. So I'm not sure how long this will take, but we're like an hour in, but we're almost done. Shouldn't take 2 hours. Oh, what's going on here? There was an error while trying to write. It's likely that you need to grant permissions. No, that's fine. Shouldn't need to make changes to gem file lock because we're just installing. Well, anyway, it should be fine. It should be fine. And if it's not, oops. Okay, so bundle exec Rails secret. Oh. And that gives us our secret key. Now, we went over this when first implementing the devise token, the implementing devise for users. Uh, this you definitely shouldn't show this to anyone uh, ever. No one should ever see this. You definitely shouldn't have this like on screen during a live stream. But because this is a demo machine that I'm going to delete anyway. I mean, I could show this. I could post this to Twitter. I don't care. I'm going to post it to Twitter right now. Oh, wait. I'd have to copy it. Nah, I'm not going to do that then. That's a pain. Never mind. I'm not going to post it to Twitter. But yeah, that's how little I care about anything on this particular machine, because it's just a demo machine that's going to be deleted. But yeah. Otherwise, it's a secret for a reason. You know, keep it a secret. Uh, okay, and then you'll want to copy that though. You want to copy that, and then in Warehome server visual equals nano. That temporarily sets a environment variable. Gotta spell that correctly though. And then Rails credentials edit. and that will create your. What is your problem now? That should not be happening. Ugh. Doesn't exist as a super user? Here we go. And that will generate your credentials.yaml in temp. Oh, screw you. Nope, there it is. It's interesting. I want to see something. Of course, I gotta hide this one. Okay. Visual equals nano Rails credentials edit. Okay, yeah, that just shows this temp. Okay, that's just what it shows it as. Cancel. Okay, so that's a non-issue. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so yeah, so that generates our credentials file as well as a your own credentials file, your own master key. I had to do that as super user, which was annoying. Try not to do things as super user, but just sudo them. But when you try to sudo uh, Rails anything, it doesn't work for some reason. So, but then Rails runs into permission issues, so that's something you might have to. So far, we haven't run into any blocking issues, just minor annoyances, but that's something that might have to be troubleshooted at some point. One benefit of just doing everything as root to begin with is you don't run into that sort of thing, but you also shouldn't just do everything as root to begin with. So, anyway, so let's add our key. Okay. The key that we generated earlier. And that's, where are you? Devise JWT secret key. Copy. And we save that and exit. And how do we get out of SUU? Normal U? Or do we just like start a new session and end that one? Yeah. Okay. So there's Warehome server. Okay, so we're backend server. Okay, so we've got our secret key. We did that, and now we want to do Rails DB create, which hopefully works. Come on, bastard. Okay. Or I will cry, because that means I have to go back and redo everything as super user. Permission denied. Hmm. Let's see. Rails DB create permission denied. Hmm. Permission, create DB permission for a new user. Filling from the. Hmm. Except it should be doing it as Warehome, who has all permissions. Let me just restart the console because. Okay. And it should be using. Yeah, that password, and it should be using the Warehome. In database.yaml, it should be using Warehome as the username and server database password as the password, which of course is server database password. It's the password that's set for that. So, no, it still doesn't work. Okay. Uh, sorry, I'm thinking of Windows, so let's see. Directory. Seeing gem file Windows is not a valid platform. The available options are, but I'm not on Windows. That's odd. I did not have this issue. Okay. Let's hope for the best. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we just had to do that. Okay. So yeah, when in doubt, just switch all the way to super user. By the way, yeah. Anyway, so we're at that point. Now, we can't run DB setup because that will just run the queries here now. Yeah, the difference between migrate and setup is if you run setup, it'll run all these queries now. MariaDB does not support this collation. So, but if you run migrate, it'll just run through all of the migration steps as is, including deleting and remaking the uh, the containment tables, checkouts tables, or whatever we wound up doing. Yeah, checkouts and containments. So it's going to make and then unmake and then remake those tables, but it is what it is. Better that it actually works at all, you know? So, DB migrate. Okay. I guess the issue is running bundle from superuser. As long as you don't run bundle from superuser, it's not from superuser, it's not an issue. But because that was where I got the warning telling me this is going to break the application for every other user doing this. You really shouldn't be doing this. So I guess if I had just ran bundle as myself and did everything else from superuser, what I did on the first server would have been fine. But oh well. And then I would have been able to run the server from a regular user, but too late. And then of course we want to run db seed. And that will give us our admin role and all of our permissions. And then of course anytime there's an update, you should run db seed for any missing permissions as needed. And then we can simply... Oh, you bastard. Can we do this from a normal user? Rails S E Duction. And no. So it has to be run from superuser anyway. Rails S. Although I think because we have the environment variable set to production, we don't have to add the E flag as well. It's kind of a hat on a hat, but yep. We now have a Rails server running, and we can check that by going to the one API that isn't behind the one get that isn't behind a permission check, and that's... Oh, I forgot to do the CORS file. Crap. I forgot to do the CORS file. Okay, yeah. Yeah, copy and edit the CORS file. Got caught up in... Yeah, okay, so what did we do? Apt update, passenger. Okay, secret, we did that. Yeah, we did that. db create. Copy and edit the CORS file. Okay, yeah. Come on. Ugh, stupid. Okay, I'm clicking on the other window. Okay, where's CORS? CD initializers? Okay, yeah. cp cors.rb.example cors.rb, which is of course in gitignore. Netto cors.rb. Okay, and really we could just do this, but you could also set it to your actual, you could configure CORS properly, but we're just going to do this instead. Okay. And now we can run it. That was the one thing we were missing. And now, with that, we have our server. And from there, we can go... what was that route again? Let's go to routes. Has users. API v1 has users. Okay. So that's how we can tell our server is running. So we're just going to go here. 10.7.6.47. check something. It's running, right? Christ. Yeah, it's running. No route matches. API v1 has users? Huh? Did I get something wrong? Oh, utils? Was it utils has users? Let me just double check. Um, okay. Just log out of this real quick. Okay, Fiddler. Utils. Utils has users. Derp. Has users false. Okay, so our API is running and it is correctly querying against the database. So we're at that point. This is a long process. Once it's set up, though, updating is like 5 minutes. You know, git pull, rebuild, recopy to Nginx, restart the server, the backend part. But yeah, now that our server's running, we can just leave that in that tab and let that run indefinitely, or until we delete this VM because it's for demo purposes. Okay, so yeah, so we are now at step 41 of 46. Nice. Copy and edit the .env file. Okay, so cd. Okay, the env file. So that would be in cd. Tell me I committed that. Source cd assets maybe cd. Where's that env file? Hold on. Where are you hiding? env.example right there. Where are you? Oh, it's hidden. Duh, it's hidden. CP. I forgot on Linux, if it's prepended with a period, it's automatically hidden. Well, not CP, CD, CP. That example. Okay. Oh, oh, you're such a horse's ass. Nano. Yeah, and you'll see you want to change localhost to your IP address or your domain name if you're using a local DNS, which I'm considering setting up on my pfSense, a local DNS that would make it so that you don't have to type in an IP address to access this, because it's not very user friendly to have to type in an IP address for people. It's easy for me, sure, but I'm weird. Normal people don't like having to type in an IP address. They'd rather just type in a word, just type in Warehome into their. So I highly recommend setting up local DNS that'll do that for you. Anyway, so what sudo, I suppose. We better just sudo right from the start. And then sed. That's an I, right? dash I dash E S localhost 10 escape the dot 7 6 47 slash G. Right, and that does that. Okay. Feature. I mean, it's still npm. Is this one gonna take a while? Doesn't seem that slow. It's already 12%. Wait. Okay. npm I, npm run build. I have to do the super user. Okay. Finish this out as super user because I'm tired of typing sudo or then it not working even then. So I'm just gonna finish this out as super user and be done with it. So get npm I. Okay. npm run build. Shouldn't take too long. It's only 1,000 or so things. Okay, maybe 2,000 or so things. Okay. Built in 20 seconds. Okay, so now. So okay. And then we want to copy recursively. Copy, paste to build. And ls build. And there we go. And then when you need to update the front end, you would just delete build and redo that copy, redo that npm build and copy. So now what we want to do is configure Nginx, right? And another thing. So for now, we have it in that directory, but nothing's really looking in that directory for a website at the moment. So you'll notice if we go to 47. No, I did not want all that. Don't autocomplete. Don't put words in my mouth, Google. And refresh, you'll still get that. Now, we have one last thing to do, and that's to configure Nginx. Now, I did a simple configuration where I just didn't include the Ruby bits because I'm not using Passenger. If you're using Passenger, then you want to configure that in Nginx for Ruby. but I'm just running Ruby, you know, on the command line. And at some point, I'll probably add a startup thing that on startup, it'll just automatically run that. So that if the server ever goes down, I lose power or something, I don't have to log back in and relaunch the backend. Because as it stands, I would have to do that if there's ever an outage. Yeah, probably in for a good hurricane season this year, so it might behoove me to do that. But that's not one more thing I have to deal with. But for now, it's just, run Ruby for the command line. Uh, so you want us go to that and edit it. Yeah, you'll want to edit this file. This file has a ton of extra garbage in it, but you'll start with this. You want to change your root and your server name. Uh, so let's just go back here. So I just want to double check my directory here. So you want to go into your Nginx config, right? So cd cd Nginx sites available. Okay, and then edit your default. And then, of course, you'll want to restart Nginx. So, listen on port 80, etc., etc. Let's just go back in so we can compare them. Listening on port 80. Okay, and instead of var, you'll want to just Warehome build. You want to point it at that. Yes, you do. Server name. I'm just setting the IP address as the server name. And that should be good for now. But I'll show you what else needs to be done in a second. Actually, I just showed you. Yeah. Because of the way React and router DOM works, if you try to visit any other path by just navigating directly to it in the browser as opposed to using the navigate function, then it's going to just show a 404 page because it's not a valid route if there isn't a file for it according to Nginx. So for your React, you'll want to just point everything at index. So I'll show you what happens. So first I got to restart, I believe. Yeah, so I got to restart Nginx when I change the config. Okay. And now we have Warehome. And you'll notice we're on the sign up page, not the sign in page. And that's because we don't have a user yet. So let's create our demo user. With password demo, username demo, password demo. Chrome's going to tell us that's a terrible password. Couldn't use the... forgot about that. Really? Okay. Demo. Demo, 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 demo. Change your password. I'm sure it was found in a data breach, and I don't care. I hope it's found again. Demo, 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 demo. And we have a. I'm not changing my password. You change your password. And now we have. And see, you try to go to admin, 404. Go off the server, 404. In fact, this is not a navigate, this is an href, so go off the server, 404. But you can go to here because that's a navigate. This is an href, that's a navigate, because I want when you click here for it to, reload everything properly. I want this to act as a refresh button. So remember, I went back and forth between making this a navigate and making it a href. But anything that's an href to not root is going to be a 404. But navigates are fine. Of course, you got that, but whatever, who cares? And of course, you can see images just fine. So to fix the little 404 issue, there's one more thing we got to do. And then we can call it done. So go back into now default. Okay. And we've got to change this to, just want to double check that I type it right, /index.html. Because it's a single page application, it's a React application, everything does go to index anyway. That's just how Mafia works. Okay. And now you can go to dashboard. You can go to admin. You can go to categories. You can create categories. Go. Start making your reds. Bottle of red. Go here. You can go create subcategory. It sends you a face. Okay. Then you go back here and you got, boom. You can go to containers and add a container and choose a file and now we're getting meta. And go back, create a new item. Uh, okay. Near the end. And we're golden. The setup's about an hour and a half. But we are indeed set up. Now, aren't we? So that's that. We'll just do a quick demo stream tomorrow, same time tomorrow. But yeah, that's the way we deploy the server. We got a little meta at the end, but it's all good. It's all good. And of course, you get this QR code. Uh, yeah, hold on. Reader online because I don't have. I can't exactly show you what's on my phone. So scan now. Yep. So there you go. That's that. Of course, you know all about checkouts, but there are no checkouts. If I go here, checkout one, save. Now it's checked out. Go here, uncheck it out. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Okay. So there we go. One Warehome system. So that's that then. So I guess I can like safely delete this machine. Who cares? Yeah. Probably just screwed up Ruby because now it's going to have that PID file. So it's not going to be able to run unless I delete the PID file and reboot. I'll probably have to reboot and run the PID file, but whatever. Yeah, what happens? Yeah, what happens when I do that and then I go here? Yeah, there's issues. There's issues. Oh boy. Well, whatever. Who cares? That's the demo. Whew, that's the demo machine. As long as this machine is well taken care of and runs well, it's all good. So I guess the only thing I did wrong was run bundle as super user instead of running bundle as myself. Everything else was fine. That was my only mistake. So, if I ever have to rebuild this machine, I just won't do that time. Next time. So yeah, same time tomorrow to do a demo on the. I'm gonna try and have more test data in here as well. Uh, yep, yeah, have more test data in here. Right now, I just have like. I also want to alphabetize the containers. I need to fix that. They should be sorted by name. There's a couple little things. There's still plenty of little improvements that this can use, so this is just going to remain a hobby project that I continue to update here and there. It's, feature complete for like a release candidate, but there's plenty of little things that can be fixed. Alphabetized containers. Oh, I also fixed the card sizes after the last stream, the last development stream. I think that was after the last. So now card sizes are consistent. I just made them consistent height. Picked a height. Uh, so if I have like even a ton of text, it'll just be cut off after a while, and then you'll just have to read the whole text with a tooltip. You get a little ellipsis. So there's like a character limit for how much text will be displayed, and so on. I have a consistent height for everything so that things aren't all jaggy and staggered. But for things that don't have a lot of text to them, that means a lot of white space on the screen. So I might want to revisit that, revisit the height and the text length thresholds once I have some more real world data to go by. because this is just a lot of empty space. Yeah, of course I've already got some of my. Another thing is I want to add another column to the categories table, distinguish it from the subcategories more. So it's a good thing I made those two different things. But it's going to be a Boolean value to toggle on or off whether or not there's actually a checkbox displayed for that particular category, because there's no point in checking colors. Everything has a color, really. There's no point in checking abstract. Everything is something. So I would want to remove these two checkboxes, but for example, keep these, because maybe I just want to see all my red wines or all my white wines, so on and so forth. So some categories, this checkbox isn't really appropriate, so I would want to remove that, because that just causes user confusion. So yeah, alphabetized containers, toggle off checkboxes on certain categories are two things that are like right right on the horizon, but not going to be done on stream. The dev streams are over. Uh, yeah, that's it. That's that's deployment. So tomorrow a demo, and then I consider the portfolio project done, but I'll maintain this still. As I also want to check out that other guy's Warehome. What's up with that? Oh, all right. Till tomorrow.